Title: The Greedy Ant and the Selfless Bee. Once in a lush and colorful garden, there lived an industrious ant named Andy and a compassionate bee named Bella. Andy was known for his greed and always hoarded more food than he needed, whereas Bella was always helping other insects, even if it meant sacrificing her own share of nectar. One summer, a severe drought hit the garden, and food became scarce. Andy, driven by his greed, decided to gather as much food as possible, fearing he might not find enough during the tough times. He ignored the pleas of other insects who were hungry and desperate for food. On the other hand, Bella noticed the plight of her fellow creatures and decided to help them. She shared her nectar and tirelessly flew from flower to flower, gathering food and distributing it to the ones in need. As days passed, the situation worsened, and Andy found himself struggling to manage the massive food stash he had collected. His heartless attitude had alienated him from the other insects, and he was now alone with his hoard. Meanwhile, Bella's kindness had earned her the admiration and support of the entire garden community. The other insects started working together to find food, and they all looked after each other, just as Bella had cared for them. One day, a torrential rainstorm broke the drought, and the garden flourished once more. The insects who had worked together during the hard times were now reaping the rewards of their unity and compassion. Andy, however, was overwhelmed by his hoard of food, which was now rotting and wasted due to his greed. He realized that his selfishness had cost him the trust and friendship of others, leaving him in isolation. Watching the garden community thrive in harmony, Andy felt regret and guilt for his actions. He approached Bella and asked for forgiveness, promising to change his ways and be more considerate of others in the future. Bella, being a bee full of compassion, forgave Andy and offered him a chance to make amends. Together, they organized a feast for all the insects in the garden, and Andy shared his hoarded food with everyone, learning the joy of giving and the importance of empathy. From that day on, Andy transformed into a new ant, one who understood the value of sharing and caring for others. The garden flourished with not only the abundance of nectar, but also the abundance of kindness and cooperation. Moral of the story: the true measure of a person is not in what they possess,